My parents pressured me to invite my sister, who hooked up with my former boyfriend, to my wedding. So I invited the aunt they wronged, and Pandemonium revealed every hidden family truth. I'm Katie, 27, female, and I just got married. You'd assume it would rank among the most joyful days of my existence, correct? Well, not quite. What should have been a stunning celebration morphed into a wild spectacle, courtesy of my charming relatives. Instead of savoring the occasion, I spent it evading conflict at every corner. They appeared intent on wrecking my wedding, and frankly, they nearly pulled it off. But I'm not the type to remain passive, so I chose to serve them a dose of their own tactics. Now they're portraying me as the antagonist in this saga. I crave an impartial viewpoint, so allow me to recount precisely what unfolded. Let me provide some background. I'm the youngest in a household of 5. First, there's my mother. She embodies the classic almond mom, perpetually experimenting with trendy diets and subtly, or blatantly, criticizing every bite I take. Then there's my father, whose sole passion revolves around finances. Unless it involves market trends, portfolios, or the term return, he couldn't care less. Now, on to my eldest sister. To phrase it kindly, she's somewhat of a terror. We've never shared a positive connection. She's always been the favored one, whereas I was simply present. During childhood, she excelled at tormenting me. For instance, she deliberately embarrassed me in social settings, then skillfully flipped the narrative so I appeared at fault. It's fair to say our relationship is strained. The only family member I truly harmonize with is my grandmother. She's the kindest, most grounded individual, and the sole person who ever made me feel valued. As for myself, I was sent to boarding school for most of my youth, so I never forged deep ties with anyone at home. While my sister absorbed all the spotlight, I was largely forgotten. Growing up, I was also close to my aunt. She was the vibrant, enjoyable adult figure, and we shared plenty of moments. But around age 13, she abruptly relocated. I never grasped the reason, and it coincided with my departure to boarding school. Thus, whatever bond I had with her and the rest of the family faded entirely. Now, regarding how I landed in boarding school, it's entirely due to my sister. She despised that our parents had another child. She craved undivided attention, so she dedicated herself to making my existence miserable. I became her go-to scapegoat for every mishap. My sister habitually damaged household items, like mother's cherished vase or father's golf awards, then pinned it on me. She'd adopt her most angelic expression, shed fake tears, and spin an absurd tale about my involvement. Once, she even persuaded them I'd taken cash from father's wallet, though I hadn't a clue where he kept it. Naturally, they trusted her. At age 12, matters escalated dramatically. She once spilled crimson juice across mother's pristine white sofa and insisted I'd been reckless. Another incident involved shredding father's critical work documents, claiming she witnessed me doing it out of idleness. They believed her without fail. My tales of her antics could fill volumes. The breaking point arrived when she shattered a treasured family relic, a crystal dish passed down through generations. She vowed I'd been fooling around and caused the accident. My parents were livid, and rather than hear me out, deemed me too troublesome and shipped me to boarding school. My parents were largely absent throughout my upbringing. They skipped nearly all my school functions. I recall a major piano recital that meant the world to me. Scanning the crowd, I hoped to spot them, but saw only unfamiliar faces. Another time, after weeks on a science fair entry that earned first prize, they weren't present to cheer. Phone calls were rare. I grew accustomed to their absence. It became routine. Upon graduating and returning home for university, I hoped for change. Residing with my sister reignited the turmoil. Coexisting with her felt like re-entering a battlefield. She ensured every situation centered on her and escalated minor issues into battles. My sister was the campus celebrity, locally raised, widely recognized. I was the newcomer aiming for invisibility. Yet she couldn't tolerate comparisons, so she resumed her campaign to ruin my days. She began with cutting remarks among her circle. Once, she offhandedly told friends I was academically delayed, which was false. She hosted a grand gathering and deliberately excluded me to heighten my isolation. The ultimate blow came on prom evening. I discovered her with my then boyfriend, flaunting it shamelessly. It seemed she wanted me to witness her triumph in claiming whatever she desired, including my partner. I informed Mother, seeking solidarity, but she dismissed it as trivial. I'd reached my limit. I relocated to another city for higher education, severing family contact and beginning anew. Post-departure, I completed my studies. I requested financial aid for tuition, which they provided, later revealed to be grandmother's generosity, not theirs. At least one person showed concern. In my fresh start, I encountered an incredible person. We fell in love, got engaged, and it was magical. He cherished me deeply, making me feel truly treasured. We planned to marry, and it exceeded my dreams. Naturally, I shared the news with my family. I felt both thrilled and nervous about informing them. After my history, I wanted them to see my happiness. Their response was lukewarm, a nonchalant, "Oh, all right." They raised no objections but showed little enthusiasm. I accepted it. I hadn't expected sudden warmth. Wedding preparations commenced. Mother proposed hosting it at home. I hesitated. I'd built a life elsewhere and preferred celebrating locally. Thus, I organized everything in my chosen city. My parents offered minimal assistance. Conversely, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law were phenomenal, aiding with venues, details, and inclusion. Their support enriched the experience. Invitations were next. After distribution, Mother noted an error. My sister's name was omitted. Before I could clarify, she said she'd already told my sister and the family would attend. I explained it was deliberate. I didn't want her there. Mother waved it away, calling it childish. I reminded her of my sister's betrayal with my ex. Mother exploded, labeling me grudge-holding and insisting on reconciliation for family harmony. I was stunned. She ignored my pain for the sake of appearances. I asserted there'd never been true unity and I'd always been marginalized. I stood firm, no invitation for my sister. Mother threatened that without her, no one would come. That infuriated me. I ended the call and resolved to hold my ground. Reflecting, I realized they'd never prioritized my emotions. If they'd boycott over this, their opinions meant little. I opted to invite someone they despised, my aunt, to counter their games and assert control over my day. Aunt backstory: she was father's least favorite, with constant friction. Yet she was always affectionate toward my sister and me. A massive rift occurred. She moved away. I later deduced father had falsely accused her and poisoned her relationship with grandmother. Mother meddled in her marriage too. Details were murky, but father had severely wronged her. With this knowledge, I contacted my aunt to reconnect and include someone genuinely caring yet victimized by my family. It felt like justice. Contacting her proved challenging. She ignored messages. I visited unannounced. She lived nearby, surprisingly. Initially frosty, she warmed after I detailed my neglect and mistreatment. Over tea, she revealed the truth. Here's the revelation. Aunt had a boyfriend grandmother disapproved of. My parents fed grandmother falsehoods, claiming aunt planned to elope disregardingly. They fabricated an ultimatum from grandmother: end the relationship or face disownment. Aunt, crushed, attempted dialogue, but grandmother believed aunt had chosen the boyfriend. Escalation led to grandmother's minor health scare and hospitalization. Father barred aunt's visits, claiming grandmother rejected her. He spread tales of aunt's abandonment, selfishness, and even theft from grandmother's accounts for her boyfriend, pure lies. Aunt later realized my parents engineered the divide, but lacked courage to confront grandmother. They further slandered her to relatives, blaming her for grandmother's woes. I persuaded aunt to attend my wedding and later mend ties with grandmother. She agreed reluctantly, especially upon hearing of my sister's demands. Wedding day began tensely. My sister arrived with mother hurling barbs. Mother fawned over her until spotting aunt. Her expression was priceless fury. She confronted me, demanding explanations. I echoed her earlier words, rebuilding family bonds for happiness. Mother raged, but my sister-in-law, pre-warned, intervened smoothly. The ceremony proceeded beautifully despite glares. I felt empowered. Reception chaos erupted. Aunt secluded with grandmother for talks. My parents pounded the door desperately. My sister sniped about decor and quality. Sister-in-law countered elegantly, redirecting focus to us. Exhausted, I urged space for aunt and grandmother, but parents accused me of sabotaging their perfect family. My husband and mother-in-law threatened ejection. Father exploded, insulting me publicly, calling me unloved, problematic, a lifelong burden. Security escorted them out. Reception recovered. We enjoyed despite turmoil. Post-event, my phone overflowed with family texts. I'd overlooked my sister. She remained, live streaming tearfully. She ranted to followers about my ingratitude for expelling parents, painting me as lifelong jealous nightmare, herself as saintly sister. She claimed I ruined reputations by inviting aunt and disrespected elders on my special day. Comments sympathized lavishly. She hijacked my joy for victimhood. Needing escape, I called grandmother. She and aunt had reconciled deeply during the wedding. Aunt disclosed parental lies. Twisted elopement tailies, blocked hospital visits, fabricated rejection. Grandmother thought aunt vanished callously. Aunt believed disownment. They uncovered intercepted gestures, flowers misattributed, calls screened, cards forgotten. Tears, apologies, hugs dissolved years of pain. Amid my crisis, their healing shone. I sued my sister for defamation, done with toxicity. Aunt and grandmother backed me. Aunt planned suing parents for manipulation and harassment. Parents blamed me for causing issues. A week post-wedding, amid supportive comments, and some harsh, I clarified. Family love lingered then. I never foresaw such depths. Mother-in-law was irked by drama but supportive. Husband and sister-in-law unwavering. I filed against sister. Lawyer confirmed strong defamation case via lies damaging reputation, seeking distress damages and retraction. Aunt sued parents similarly, citing evidence of lifelong gaslighting. Parents panicked apologies, then accusations of family destruction and vindictiveness. Court day, sister's pity act failed, evidence posts video proved malice. I won compensation, mandated public apology, delicious for her image-obsessed self. Aunt's complex case triumphed with texts, emails, letters exposing impersonations and barriers. Parents guilty of harassment ordered hefty damages plus restraining order. Father's courtroom outburst, labeling us ungrateful, himself sacrificial, was swiftly silenced. Satisfaction abounded. Latest, grandmother disinherited parents, bequeathing to aunt and me for peace post-revelations. Aunt demurred. Grandmother insisted we deserved it. Parents, desperate, harassed mother-in-law, she rebuffed and forwarded proof. I secured restraining order against family for protection, especially shielding in-laws. Married life thrives calmly with husband. Chaos cleared toxic air. Grandmother and aunt cohabit happily. Life feels lighter, perhaps as intended. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.